Alrighty, welcome back to Shock and Schlock. I'm your host, Trisha Gillis, and today is day 17 on day 19 of the 31 Days of Horror. Almost caught up now. Gonna be probably caught up today or tomorrow. Um, I'm here with a film that a lot of people were, waiting a while on, myself included, and that is the Profane exhibit from 2013, a anthology film of shorts created by many underground filmmakers that are very well regarded. Um, I believe it is 10 segments in total. So I have a list of all of them here. Going to go over briefly my favorite ones and my least favorite. The least favorite ones I'm not going to spend as much time on. If you're not watching until the end of the video, yes, you should pick this up. So anyway, let's get into it. So the wraparounds for this I'm not going to spoil because you don't find out what it is until really the end, but you see a lot of things played in reverse with like meat being sliced and sausages being made, stuff like that. But the first, I'm not gonna actually go in order. I'm just gonna go over my favorites and least favorites of these. So, Elephant in the Room, least favorite of these is called The Bridge, which is directed by Ruggero Deodato, which is unfortunately I believe his last film he made before he passed away. It's not terribly made. It's just nothing. It's not a particularly exciting experience. It just has this woman walking on a bridge, two kids see her, and then you hear her scream, essentially, implying that the children killed the mom. I'm sorry if there's spoilers in this. That's literally it, though. So there's not really a way to spoil or do anything. Because there's just nothing there. Just was not a fan at all. Another of my least favorite was Tophet Quorum, directed by Sergio Stivoletti, who I believe made the film Waxwork, which is about this woman who gives birth to twins, and then she's in this castle, and she thinks she saw two, but they said one is stillborn, when in reality they took it somewhere. I'm not going to spoil what happens. It's hard not to because these are short films, so it's hard not to get into things. I thought the film was very amateurish compared to the rest of these. I'm just trying to get the negative ones out of the way first, because I will talk about all these a little bit. This is fresh in my mind, so I do remember them. I think the lighting, the audio on that one are just pretty subpar. The acting is too over the top for me. For what the film is trying to be, it's trying to be serious, and it comes off as very silly. So I wasn't a huge fan of that one. The gore effects in this one, pretty decent though. So it's got that going for it. Once again, not terrible, just not anything to write home about. Another unfortunate low point was Basement, the segment by Uwe Boll. And as someone who actually is a fan of several Uwe Boll films, I think he's made a few actually good movies. I've spoken with him. I think he's an interesting guy. But this one is not my favorite either. But it has Clint Howard and Caroline Williams as this couple who is, happy, and they're having dinner, and then we see that they're keeping someone in their basement. I'm not going to spoil who or why, but yeah. Tries to shock you with a taboo subject, but doesn't do a whole lot. I know it's based on a real true crime case, but it's not super interesting to me visually. At least it's kind of, compared to the rest, it's just one of the more straightforward, forgettable entries in my opinion. But you see naked Clint Howard, which is horror enough in itself. I guess Elfie just wants in the video today. So those are really the low points for me. So considering there's only 3, let's get into. There's a couple that I think are sort of middle of the road. These are not bad. They have elements that I definitely enjoy. I just wish they had a little bit more to them. The first of these is Mother May I, which is the real opener of the film, directed by Anthony DiBlasi. Um, it is following these young women at this like convent or church. I don't know why I can't think of the word at the time for whatever reason, but these young girls are kind of under the mentorship of this mother who's very tough and punishes them for having impure thoughts and such, and then we see maybe she has a dark side. This one has a really cool monster design in it. I'm not going to spoil how the monster comes into this, but it is literally like the main thing you see on Letterboxd, so I don't think that's a spoiler when you look this film up. I think it's super cool looking. The effects are great. I think the acting is really strong in this one. It just feels like just as the film is starting to like begin, it kind of just ends. So I wish this is one of those ones that I kind of wish was extended to like a full feature length. I think it would have done the story better, but I appreciate what is there. And since I've talked about what the other directors have made, Anthony DiBlasi is the director of Last Shift and recently Malum, which is a remake of Last Shift, I believe. Very talented behind the camera. Just wish it was longer or we got to the good stuff a little bit quicker. So, yeah. The next that I think is a little bit just middle of the road, maybe, is Good Wife, directed by Ryan Nicholson, who's I've been talking about quite a bit. And spoiler alert, I have another review of his coming up. Good Wife is about a man and his wife, and the man is secretly a serial killer. The wife finds out, and maybe she's a little bit into it. I think it's a pretty decent short. The acting's fine. The gore, effects, great. Ryan Nicholson excels at that. The thing is that I've been watching a lot of Ryan Nicholson. This one didn't feel like his typical like style. It's much more serious. I know other films can be serious, but there's always like a black comedy aspect to them. This one just didn't have that, and it was shot a little plain. But overall, it's decent. I enjoyed it. It's just probably one of the ones that I have the least to say about. I don't really have any issues, but it's nothing that I can praise really highly. So, past that though, the one that I would say the like last like sort of middle of the road, but definitely towards the high point there, because I do have some really good things to say about it, is Mana or Mana by Michael Todd Schneider, aka Maggot, co-creator of August Underground Mortem and Star, and a director in his own right of films such as His Devil's Night and such. Really well shot about this like strip sex club, and like witch cannibal stuff going on. There's not a whole lot plot wise to this one, but I think the visuals are really awesome. Gore is great. I like the way it's shot. It's very cool looking. It is really well made, and I think it's more of a testament to Mr. Schneider's talent behind the camera than it is necessarily to his writing in this case. But with a short, it is one of the like punchier, trippier versions of it. So I really did enjoy it, even if it has sort of like a music video feel to it. I think that's actually a positive. It's just story-wise, there's not a whole lot to talk about, unfortunately, but it is good. It's really good. Now moving on to the quite good and another elephant in the room, which is Mors in Tabula, directed by Marian Dora. My thoughts on Marian Dora can probably, this is going to sound like a cop-out, but are best summed up by John from the Sick on Cinema podcast on their mild symptoms episode about this as well. Marian Dora, I think, has done some very deplorable things for film. I think he is very talented behind the camera, but his morality and the things that he chooses to do on film, including like animal cruelty in the modern times, is pretty unacceptable, to say the least, which is why I don't review his films on my channel, typically. Just not a fan personally. If he watches films, go for it. Not for me. Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, I do think he is talented behind the camera. So away from like my thoughts on him as a human being, I think Morzin Tabula is quite good. It's like this. It's during World War II. There's a child in his family. The child has this very bad sickness, and this doctor comes to save him. And the doctor is a Nazi. You see Nazi imagery and hear like Nazi propaganda speeches in the background, and he saves the child. But as we see as this goes on, the child is, disabled, and the doctor is a Nazi, so things may not go great, and there's a twist of like things that happen in that as well. Super gorgeous looking film. I wish Marion Dora did not like insist on using animal cruelty and being cruel to his cast and stuff, because he's a very talented director, because it's a gorgeous short film. Acting is really good. It feels very surreal and like dreamlike, but in a really twisted way. So yeah, definitely a highlight. Really good. Just wanted to say that about my feelings on Marion Dora, because I have had people message me of like asking for me to review them. I'm not going to. I'm sorry. Next thing, another one that I really, really, really liked was The Hell Chef. The Hell Chef, directed by Yoshiro Nishimura, who is the director of stuff like Tokyo Gore Police, Anatomia Extinction, Hell Driver, Japanese splatterpunk, and has a woman kill a man, and someone gets called in. She's like the Hell Chef, who's going to break down a body and make food out of it. Super fun. Very dark humor, just like Nishimura's other work, like Tokyo Gore Police, as previously mentioned. I think it's really solid. The special effects are silly, but they work well because it's like a cartoonish atmosphere, so the cartoony special effects work really well. Lots of blood, like free-floating limbs, shit like that. It's super fun. I really enjoyed it. Nishimura is just a really fun director, so he brings some levity to a pretty dark film in general. The next one is Amouche Bouche, which is, you know what? Amouche Bouche couldn't be that good because I forgot which film this one was. Oh boy. Maybe it's not so good. Amouche Bouche. Amouche Bouche. It's the wraparound. I am so stupid. Yeah, the wraparound, which I previously mentioned. I thought I forgot one of the shorts in this. I didn't. It's the wraparound. So fine. Amouche Bouche. Yeah. Breaking down of meat. So yeah. Top short film, though, for me in this, that makes it worth a buy alone, is Nacho Vigalando's Sins of the Fathers. Nacho Vigalondo directed Time Crimes, which I'll also be covering on the channel eventually. And this one is about, like, this grown man who is trying to punish his, like, father who has dementia, and it's like there's like he's going to be part of a snuff film, it's implied, but he's doing his punishment for him being abused by his father as a child. It's very dark, but it's not like exploitative. It's a thought-provoking little film. It's very depressing more than anything, but I think it's really well done. I think the acting from everyone involved in that is stellar. I think the writing is stellar. It's the one short film in this that I think works perfectly as a short. I don't think it would work as a feature length, and I think that Nacho Vigalondo used the time that he had to the absolute maximum. It hits you with a gut punch as the finale, and it is incredibly disturbing, but extremely well made, and it makes it well worth a watch. It's the short in this that I would give a 5. I said overall my thoughts on the Profane exhibit is a 3.5 out of 5 because there is a film in this, which is unfortunately Deodato's part, The Bridge, which I would give a 1 out of 5 versus a 5. So it's you get across the board, but you get the good, the bad, and the middle. And I think overall, we all waited a very, very, very long time for this. I originally found out about this film in college, which was a long time ago. So I've known about this film for 7-8 years, and to finally see it get a release, I know some people have even been waiting longer than that. It's a film that even since I've been into the more extreme horror world, I guess, it's a film I've known about since the beginning, so it's really cool to see it get a release. So pick it up. I would not say to go in with the highest of expectations because I don't think this, a film that's taking almost a decade or more to come out is never going to meet the hype that's been brought up to it. That's just the reality. But we did get a good project and a good film, so I do recommend checking it out. So that's it for the Profane exhibit. One of the more exciting releases of the year from Unearthed Films. I think the actual, everything there, Unearthed Films, I love Unearthed Films. So yeah, check it out, pick it up. That's it. 0 thoughts, 0 editing, 0 brain cells, and 0 planning. Thanks guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Keep your notifications on. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.